Hello. In today's episode of Violent Memoir, we'll continue with Oscar's route. Oh yeah, no worry. I know a really good place that delivers. They do some amazing stuff, trust me. I think that'll be nice. Oscar gives me a wink and pulls out his phone, collapsing on the vacant bed as he waits for wherever he's calling to answer. His cell keeps swishing back and forth like it's flowing through water. I can't help but be a little jealous of his boundless energy, though his optimism is always contagious. The night ended up being spent mostly like that. There weren't any expectations for us to do anything like I've been trying to push. At first we just relaxed and talked, then the food arrived and we crowded around my tiny screen as we watched funny videos and any shows that caught Oscar's attention. Eventually he pushed me enough to show him something I really liked, and I had to reveal my hidden love for orchestral performance. I'm just lucky we both agreed that wouldn't be too interesting to watch. We opted for some fun musical movies instead, not the best adaptation of their stage plays, but it was something. Also surprisingly knowledgeable on the arts than I expected. He hadn't watched a lot of them, but he knew a socket amount. He always surprised me. Somehow we stayed on that topic long enough that enough time passed for him to actively put a stop to the conversation so the two of us could sour. He never made any indication that I should join him and didn't even tease me this time. I think he's realizing that had been putting pressure on the two of us. Though that didn't stop him from teasing me when I got out. Not that I would have wanted him to. His teasing is part of why I like him so much. He treats me like an equal, and that's something I haven't had in a long time. He's always trying to protect me, and Lucas always feels like he's trying to keep a distance. But Oscar's never been afraid of just being himself and dragging me along for the ride. It's nice. By the time we made it back to my room and just our towels, I've been reconsidering whether or not I truly wanted nothing with Oscar. When there aren't any expectations, it doesn't feel so scary anymore, and it's just like Lily said, it's just a little bit of fun. If I was going to do it with anyone, it would be him. He makes me feel comfortable, and that's all that matters, right? I'm not able to ask my question as Oscar slides down into his board shorts, and I can't help but notice he's going commando again. I wasn't able to get a good look at anything other than his muscular thighs and tail, but even the sight of those are tempting. Oscar always seems like the kind of guy who's always in charge, but I think it would be fun to imagine him in the other position too. Thinking about something fun, eh? Huh? You stare off into space with a big smile on your face. At first, I thought you were staring at my ass. What? I was just thinking about stuff. Don't worry about it. Uh-huh. He clearly saw right through me, and I have to slow those thoughts down, though he makes no effort in trying to cover himself up at all. Without any saying, he doesn't bother putting on a shirt and just falls back onto the vacant bed. Steam floats up all of his body. I discovered the painful way that Oscar's showers are insanely hot. I nearly got burned when I walked past his cubicle at one point. Stop standing and get over here. You're stressing me out, man. His tone was playful, but he's a concerned glance to his eye. As he stares over to me, it's enough to make me realize that I've not only been zoning out, but also been standing here in just a towel. Oh, sorry. It's fine, man. I'm not complaining. You look good. You think so? I look down at the damn white fur that covers me from head to toe. I never really considered my appearance to be of any significant note. My species are all naturally thin, but even amongst other weasels, I'm squatty and undefined. I don't have an inch of muscle on me, probably due to my lack of exercise. I just look like a pretty below average guy, but Austin's gaze is filled with enough approval that fills me with a sense of pride I never felt before. Really, man? You're adorable. Guys would kill to not only look as cute as you, but have your talent for making guys flock to you. And nothing special, really. Yeah, that's why Grumpy's always tripping over himself to make sure you're doing okay. He does. That just makes him laugh, and he slides off the bed to stand next to me. He guides me towards my nightstand where my clothes are stored and just down to it. Alright, little dude, let's get you dressed before you knock yourself out. It's gonna cool down soon, unless you wanted to cuddle up against me. It was his first teasing comment since we had that discussion outside, but I could tell it doesn't mean anything. That's just how he likes to lighten the mood. But a part of me still wanted to. There's a comfort that he's brought me these last couple of nights. Would you mind? Of course, man. But are you sure? I wouldn't want you to start overthinking things again. It's fine, actually. I've been a lot better once we had our talk. It doesn't feel as strange anymore. That's great, man. You had me a bit worried there. Come on, let's get ready and chill. I got classes early tomorrow, so we'll head to bed soon. I think I like that. Recline into bed and cuddle up close to each other again. It's almost become a natural thing for the two of us by this point. I bet if Lee saw the two of us, he'd definitely scold us for being inappropriate, or maybe he's just approving, or maybe he'd be approving. It's hard to tell with him these days. Well, at least I know what Lily would say. She'd be encouraging me to push for more, especially since I've been considering it all day. Maybe I should go for it. Maybe I should go for it. I've been so worried about what happened with Nathan, or what it would mean for us that I gotten so lost in my head. But I also had made up with maybe I should go for it. I've been so worried about what happened with Nathan, or what it would mean for us that I gotten so lost in my head. But I also had made up with Nathan, and I'm certain he truly regrets what he did to him. Also has always been there to help people. He helped someone when he was all alone. He helped me when I felt isolated and scared on my first day. And he helped Nathan when he was worried he was upset. I know also said it was also to help me with all the anxiety I've been feeling, but I know it had been bothering him too. That's just the kind of guy Oscar is, isn't he? He's always trying to make people laugh and does it like dealing with difficult things. But he does it if it'll help his friends, even if they're not his friends yet. I think I really like him, probably more than I should. I know he won't return my feelings. But that's okay. I'm more than content than being friends, and maybe a little bit more. I got so lost in my head that I hadn't realized that it was completely nighttime. We slid down under our blankets. I've cuddled up against him like the last couple of nights. My laptop had been moved onto the nightstand, and it is just playing a live stream of someone streaming themselves playing piano. Also hunted him down when I mentioned I stopped playing piano. But also isn't paying attention to the screen. He's just staring down at me as he brushes my hair fur with his short, blunt nails. I've been so distracted I hadn't even noticed he'd been doing it. Welcome back. Sorry, I zoned out again. There's no stress. You've been pretty out of it all night. Did you want to get some rest? It's only around 9, but I wouldn't mind in the early night. No, I mean, it's okay. I don't want to sleep just yet. Oh, hey, Arthur. Wallace. His tone is firm and his rustling stops as well. It's enough to make me hesitate, and he's looking down at me without a hint of a smile. He's searching my eyes for something. I told him we don't have to do anything. I don't have to feel forced to. You don't have to feel forced to. But what if I want to? You sure? Could we start slow though? I'm not sure what I'm doing. Of course, dude. I wouldn't push you into anything. I don't think you're ready for 2 months right now anyway. You didn't clean yourself, right? Clean myself? Exactly. I'm not sure what he means and it brings a flush in my face, but that only causes his chuckle to develop into a full-blown laughter. Don't stress about it, man. There's always time for that later. Right now, we'll start with something simple, but I want you to promise me something, okay? So, promise me you'll stop me if you're uncomfortable. I don't want you to get lost in your cute little head and be worried about hurting my feelings. I can take it. I'll be more upset if you weren't enjoying this and let me carry on. Can you do that for me, dude? Yeah, I think I can. He pokes my cheek, not enough to hurt, but forces my eyes back up to face his face. No thinking. You'll stop me if you're not feeling it. Promise? I promise. Oh boy. He shuffles around underneath me until he slips out from under me and I fall onto my back. My hands fidgeting against my chest as he climbs over me. With how much larger he is, it isn't difficult for his body to just loom a short distance above my own. It wouldn't be intimidating except it would be as intimidating as said. Instead of his usual smug smile, it's smaller than usual. He brings his hand up to cut my cheek, brushes a finger along my jaw, and causes me to relax and release more tension than I realized. I've been holding in. I subtly exhale and situates it. There we go. Don't be so tense, man. It's just us here, and there are no expectations. We're just going to have some fun, alright? Yeah, just some fun. You sure you're good? Mm-hmm. His fingers linger for a few more moments, waiting to see if it could coax out any more of the anxiety bubbling in my chest, but some of it never moved. He must be satisfied with how much he's gotten already since it slides down to my shirt. Something I wish I'd taken off earlier, but I think that far ahead. To be honest, I can't believe we're actually doing this. It's exhilarating and terrifying. The position we're in forces one of his hands to be preoccupied with supporting his weight, but that doesn't stop his advances. His singular free hand brushes the collar of my shirt all the way down to my stomach. It feels more like a sensual massage than anything sexual, but it feels good regardless. Eventually he reaches the bottom, the tips of his claw coming through the fur exposed by the small gap between the bottom of my shirt and the waistband of my underwear. My attention is so focused on Arthur's hand that the rest of him is just background noise, but for a moment I swear I saw something cloud over Arthur's face. But it's gone when I check, and his expression still has that reassuring smile, though he won't meet my eyes anymore. Maybe the situation is embarrassing for him too. His hand pushes under my shirt and slides up to my belly button, but he hesitates from there. For a moment I thought he was waiting for something, but he just stays there. Also, everything alright? Huh? Oh yeah, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. There's a part of me that wanted to protest, but his hand starts pushing up my shirt properly, and I'm forced to sit up as he brings his other one to assist in removing it. I giggle is forced out of my throat as we yank it off, and also throws it off to the side, managing to snag it onto the back of the desk chair. Now, the two of us are sitting in bed with no shirts on. I'm just in my underwear. He's only wearing those board shorts that I know have nothing underneath them. Even though it isn't much different from the previous nights, this feels a whole lot more intimate than before. In order to free up both of his hands, Austin is forced to plant his butt on my legs. Thankfully, he puts most of his weight on my knees, on either side of me, or else I'd be crushed. Our difference in size never felt more apparent than right now. Even with him sitting so far down my body, he's forced to hunch over to keep us aligned. His hands His hands both grab my waist, and I swear, if he tried hard enough, his fingers might actually be able to touch. I don't know if that's scary or attractive, or a mix of the two. Despite how easily he could overpower me, his touch is gentle, and his blunt nails feel good as it slides over my hidden skin. My dense fur usually hides it so well, so it's a lot more sensitive than I expected. I give a stutter and it causes Austin's hands to retreat. I thought he might have been worried, but the look in his eyes is a mixture of surprise and a little bit of fear. He notices my stare and quickly returns his handles with an out of character nervous chuckle that makes everything suddenly feel a lot more uncomfortable. Austin, what's wrong? You've been really strange. Nothing is fine. It's snappy and lacking the usual friendly teasing he usually carries. His smile has totally vanished as well, and that only adds to the sinking feeling in my chest. He returns his hands to my chest, but his touch isn't as confident as before. His hands are shaking and the moves shrunk, but there's a determination in his eyes that I didn't quite understand. There's another moment of hesitation before his fingers glide through my fur, but it's lacking the usual touch that he had before. It doesn't even have that comfort he usually brings. It's just stiff and awkward, nothing like the Austin I know, and I can tell he sees it too. Fuck. Austin, just give me a moment. I better nerves, you know? But it isn't just nerves. Anyone can see that. His breathing has been getting progressively heavier, and I swear I can see sweat dripping off his nose. The mood thoroughly destroyed and replaced with just worry. But when that was happening to Oscar, I sit up and try to beat him face to face, but he just leans away the moment my head gets close. What? Fuck. As if I set off a bomb, Oscar shoves himself off the bed, dragging the blankets with him until they're in a pile on the floor. I'm left lying on the bed, my underwear confused, riddling my face. But Oscar isn't paying any attention to me. His head is in his hands, and he's just muttering something incoherent to himself. I can make out some words, but they're so jumbled, and out of context, they mean nothing. He looked nothing like the carefree Oscar that I've come to know over the week. There's no relaxing atmosphere or gentle smiles. There's just tightly wound muscle and a look of pain and confusion. Oscar, what's wrong? Fuck, I can't do it. Do what? I can't sleep with you. I can't fuck me. I thought I wouldn't be like this. Did something happen? Did I do something wrong? No, I can't. If I do, I have to abandon you, and I can't do that. Abandon me? You said you wouldn't do that. I know what I said. I thought I could just ignore it, but I can't. Fuck, I can't. Oscar's breathing has gotten even more intense. He's begun to fully hyperventilate. He's finally let go of his head, but everything about his body language screams discomfort. I thought it would be different if things been so great with you so far. I thought we could just have some fun. Can we not? Fuck, I don't know. I didn't think. Reaching out is probably not a good idea right now. He's already acting up, and I don't want to provoke him any further. Whatever was happening seems to be because of the sex we were doing, or maybe it was because he was touching me. He seemed to be struggling with keeping his hands on me, but he's usually so affectionate, and it isn't a problem. What's changed? Regardless, I need to calm him down. I just have to do it in a way that doesn't involve comforting him physically. Hey, also, look at me, okay? Just focus on me. Can you do that? For a moment, I thought he was going to just ignore me, and he takes a few deep breaths before turning his attention towards me. I make a step forward, but that's a mistake as he merely takes one away from me, nearly tripping himself on a chair, holding his shirt. It's enough to jostle some sense into him, and he shakes himself off. He's not over whatever spooked him, but he's not freaking out anymore. Our eyes meet and they're swirling, full of emotions I've never seen from him before. Ones I can only imagine he bottles up with how positive he is. The feel of sadness, confusion, and a whole lot of regret. Well, it's fuck, man. I'm sorry. I just can't go through this. I really can't. Can you tell me what happened? No, I can't. I really can't. I should just go. Before I could say anything, Arthur grabs his shirt and wants to put it on, nearly ripping the fabric as he shoves his head through the gap. His emotion filled with ferocity and desperation. Wait, Arthur, I can't just let you go out there. Whatever's going on, it's clear that it freaked you out. Wallace, please, just leave this alone. I shouldn't have done this. It was fucked up to both of us. Wait. But he doesn't. He moves towards the door, shooting back a glance that told me many things. I apologize for everything that's happened, regret for what he's about to do, and a deep sadness that doesn't feel related to me. He pulls on the door, and I nearly reach out to stop him before I hesitate. I know that's a bad idea. He seems sensitive right now. I can't break that. I just need something else. I try to remember back through everything we've done, but there's no time to think as he grabs the door handle, but I just say the first thing that comes to mind. Do you remember when we were in that nightmare? You had to guide me through the tunnel. There wasn't any plan behind what I said, but it did manage to get him to hesitate, and I leaped on the opportunity in that instant. You asked me to trust you, and I did. You asked me to trust you, and I did. I was scared, but you were there to help me through. It was amazing. So please, have some faith in me, too. We can talk about this. I want to help with whatever's wrong. There's no helping with what's wrong. I messed up, man, that's all. You said you wouldn't abandon me, so don't just go away. That makes his shoulder slump, and for a moment I swear I could see myself breaking through the cracks, but he stills his resolve and yanks the door open. For a second I thought it was going to slam against the wall, but he catches it, letting it gently come to a stop as he slips out. He stares back at me, and I can see the words on his tongue, but he doesn't say anything close to the door, leaving me alone in a well of questions with no answers. I didn't really know what happened. I stayed there for several minutes, just running through what just happened. How did we even get to this point? He seemed perfectly normal until we started doing stuff. Wait, that isn't entirely true either. He was worried about this whole thing getting in the way of our friendship. Is this a part of that too? I feel like that's close to the answer, but not quite yet. But not quite it. I just don't have the pieces yet, but regardless, Arthur's in a pretty fragile state. Leaving him alone to cool off is a possible option, but I feel like if I did that, it might ruin things for good, feeling that this is a pretty important moment between the two of us. Without waiting for another moment, I tried calling Arthur's phone, but he doesn't pick up. In fact, he actively declines my call. That's almost enough to deter me, but he truly looked like he needed some help, my help. The main problem is that I have no idea where he would go. The pool feels like it would be too obvious, right? But maybe someone else knows. Grabbing my phone once more, I make another call in my haste, not really thinking of the complications of doing so. I'm just acting before thinking. They pick up, but they don't say anything on the other side. Not that I should have expected them to. Sharon, sorry. I know I shouldn't have called you while you were hanging out, but I really need your help. Oh, right. I'm so sorry. I wasn't thinking. Something happened with Arthur, and I really need to talk to you. I'll text you. It's okay. At first I thought I imagined hearing something before realizing that someone's talking to me. It's barely above a whisper, but I can still make it out. My voice is different than I'd been expecting from his build. I always imagined him having something cute and high pitched, but it's a lot deeper than I was expecting. He sounded like he was struggling with his words and there was panting, which makes me think he's running somewhere. Be there soon. He hangs up after that, and I pace around my room for a moment before remembering that I'm just still in my underwear. I quickly throw on the clothes I've been wearing that had been haphazardly thrown onto the spare bed. I'm barely able to make myself look presentable as several knocks comes much faster than I'd been anticipating. It's easy to figure out why when I open it, though, as he's panting heavily, it looks like he's just ran all the way here. Are you okay? Did you run all the way here? He shakes his head before pulling out his phone once more, opening up our chat so we can talk in our own way. I guess the phone call was just a fluke. I was just upstairs with Lucas. You told me what your room number was. Oh, right, I forgot about that. So many things happened. Wait, were you sleeping there tonight? He just nods like I'm the one who just said something weird. I expected him to elaborate, but he doesn't. Not that I mind. I have more important stuff to go over. Oscar and I were about to, but then he started freaking out and left. I don't really know what happened. I've been hoping that Seven would have some answer for me, but he looks just as confused as me. This hasn't happened before, no doubt. Do you know where he might have gone? He thinks about it before his eyes squint, and he starts to run off back down the hall to the stairs, only taking the time to send me a single text as he disappears down the hall. Go check out the pool. I have an idea where he might be, but you should check there, just in case. Are you sure I should go? He seems pretty upset. I think you'll do a lot better than me. I think he likes you more than me, honestly. What? Just talk to him. I know you can get through to him. But we need to find him first. I'll let you know if I see him where. Okay, I'll check the gym. I quickly ready myself for anything that I need and walks out of the apartment hoping to God that I can find Oscar before he disappears back to his frat house. I don't even know if someone's been there. I'm about to make it to the elevator when the stair doors open and a very confused looking Lucas comes out, taking a startled step back as he sees me. What happened? Seven just got a call and ran out of the room without saying anything. Something just happened with Oscar and we're going out to find him. I think I messed up or something went wrong. I don't really know. Did you need any help? It's getting late. You shouldn't be going out after dark. You don't have to come. I'll be okay. I doubt he would have gone too far. I know my way around. If you're sure. But if you wanted, I could stay in your room until you get back, just in case he shows up. You do that? Yeah, I guess. He might annoy me and confuse the hell out of me, but I know Oscar's not bad. He means a lot to you. I could stay and wait for a while. If you could, that would be amazing. Just send me a message. If he shows back up, that would mean the world to me. I can't help myself and I give Lucas a hug that I've been holding him ever since. Oscar started freaking out. I wanted to give him it, but I could tell it would only have made things worse. Lucas looks shocked, but doesn't make any attempt to push me away. He just stands there, stiff as a board until I pull away. There's a question in his eyes, but he doesn't voice it. I'll get my stuff from my room. Might as well do some studying while I'm there. You're a lifesaver. I'll tell Lee about what's going on too. He'd probably be better for helping you out if you get in trouble. I only get in the way. But I wasn't able to talk to him as I dashed through the door and down the stairs. I don't have time to wait for the elevator. I want to check out the pool as soon as possible. It isn't late enough for things to be dangerous, but it's still a little scary to be walking around late at night. Due to us cuddling in bed, I expected the time to be around 11, but it's not even 9 yet. The two of us must have lost track of time, and autumn's early nights were deceiving. I didn't expect him to be loitering around the streets. Sarah would have seen him otherwise, and I haven't heard from him since he left. A part of me just wants to call him again for reassurance, but that's unfair. He might have spoken to me before, but it sounded like he was really struggling. He seemed to have some idea of where Austin might be, so I have to have faith in him and check out the campus in the meantime. There are a shocking amount of people walking the streets this late. They must have been having a Saturday night out. It's a small comfort that I'm not going to be walking the streets completely alone. Just like the streets outside the campus filled with students even this late. There even looks to be some kind of welcoming party near the main courtyard. I can't be concerned about that right now. I did a quick scan for Oscar, but I didn't see him anywhere nearby. I should just make a direct line to the gym, but there's one other area I wanted to check out, just in case. Keeping a quick pace, I keep myself to just a walk to not draw attention. There really was no need to rush. Also didn't look like he was going to run away, and if he did, there's no way I'll be able to catch up to him. Thankfully, no one bothers me at all, though a part of me is sad that Oscar didn't just take me to this instead. Maybe this whole thing wouldn't have happened if we did, but there again, who knows if this didn't happen later. It might be for the best that this happens now. Arriving at the student bar, I peeked through the window trying to search for Oscar's lost form. If there's one thing I appreciate about how gigantic he is that it spotted him in a crowd. He truly towers over everyone. But he isn't in there. The only people I recognize are Nathan alongside the group I met earlier. I think he mentioned going out with him on Saturdays. I almost go in to ask him if he's seen Oscar before I change my mind. He has my number and likely would have told me if he saw Oscar looking distressed. He knew that the two of us were hanging out tonight, and if I show up saying Oscar bailed after trying to sleep with me, it might ruin our progress the two of them have made. That isn't fair to either of them. Even if what Oscar did hurt, it's clear he did it because there's something more going on. I don't know why, but sounded like he thought that if he slept with me, that he abandoned me like he did with Nathan. But I don't get why he thought he would. He promised me and Nathan that he wouldn't do that. I'm pretty sure he wasn't lying. What am I doing? There's no use in trying to make any assumptions. The best thing would be to find him and talk to him. I'll do what Sarah told me to and check out the pool. It sounds like a pretty obvious place, but from the sounds of it, that's where he goes if things are bad. Then again, Oscar's a lot smarter than any of us gave him credit for. If he's trying to avoid me, then he probably wouldn't have come here. I have to try. I arrived at the gym to someone I recognized leaving the building, someone who I wasn't looking for, but am excited to see all the same. It isn't Oscar but his coach, leaving the building with a large duffel bag that looked full to the brim. He must be packing up for the night. He doesn't notice me at first as he wipes his tired face that still looks damp, likely from the locker room showers, but it doesn't take long for our eyes to meet. Oh, Oscar's little friend. What are you doing here at this time? I wasn't sure how to answer at first. I didn't want to admit what happened, but I've never been good with lying to people. I'm looking for Oscar. He hasn't been answering his phone, and we were supposed to meet up tonight. I thought he might be here. Thankfully not. Oscar hasn't been around all day. Maybe that boy is finally taking my advice to heart. Yes? Actually, I've been meaning to talk to you the next time I saw you, Wallace, right? Yeah, that's my name. I didn't expect to see you so soon, but maybe that's just fate. If you got the time, I wanted to talk to you about some things. Me? Not Oscar? Nah. I can always catch that guy most days of the week. You're the factor that's changed things. You got time? I can't. I need to find Oscar. Wallace, is everything alright? You look distressed. I'm fine. I'm just worried about him. He hasn't been answering his phone. I see. The two of you are close, aren't you? If you want my advice, he'll be fine if you just talk to him. Oscar's stubborn like a mule. No offense to them, but it's true. But he's got a good head on his shoulder. He's awfully fond of you. He'll listen. You think so? I can tell you're a good kid, but guys like you think too much. Go find him and just talk. It isn't rocket science. You're right. Sorry, I couldn't stay for our chat. It's just a simple talk. It isn't important. I'll follow you around campus next week. Go enjoy your weekend and tell Oscar to keep doing what he's doing. Okay? Don't worry about that. He'll get it. Now scram. It's getting too late for someone as small as you to be out. I'll be fine. I just need to find Oscar. I'll doubt that. Like I said, I know your types. You never take care of yourself. Just find him and scurry home. He gives me a dismissive wave before heading off towards the edge of the campus, only taking a moment to adjust his back. He doesn't even bother giving me another glance. He just continues to walk away until he takes a turn and disappears out of sight. And I'm left standing there in front of the pool with no idea where to go now. Where will Oscar even go from here? Some bar I've never been to? Without any leads on where to go now, I'm left stranded. I'm about to try calling Oscar again, but my phone buzzes with a message from Selwyn. He found him. He's at the beach. Why is he there? It doesn't matter why. All that's important is that we know where he isn't too far away. I walked to the beach many times that I'd never be able to forget the way. I've been avoiding this beach for so long that it feels weird to come back here already after just visiting. While the last time we were here, there were stragglers still enjoying the remnants of the day. Now it's nearly empty. Most people are home or out enjoying their Saturday night, except for a lone pair of people standing by the rocks. The same rocks the three of us were at before. Someone standing at a fair distance away while Oscar is just standing there, watching the waves crash against the rocks in front of him. As far as I can tell, he doesn't even know that someone's there, or maybe he is just ignoring him. Either way, it doesn't look like they've talked. I walk over to Selwyn, but he quickly shakes his head before gesturing at Oscar. I get the feeling he doesn't want his presence revealed to him. You must think this would be better if it was private. I follow his instructions and come to stand next to Oscar. I try to make sure I ease myself next to him with enough distance between us to not scare him away. But he makes no sign that he's noticed me at all. He just keeps staring out at the waves, one of his hands toying with his necklace. I decide against saying anything yet, at least for now. It'll be best if we just both existed at this moment. So we stand there in silence. I don't quite know how much time passes. It might have only been a minute, or it might have been an hour. But we just stand there, watching the waves grow higher and higher as the winds pick up. They slam into the rocks with enough force that specks of water flick onto my face. Eventually, our stillness contest is broken as a gust causes me to shiver. I didn't think about the weather too much and didn't grab anything to help. Every winter might never get too cold, but it does get chilly enough to warrant warmer clothes. Oscar shows no sign of the cold, even though his fur is shorter and he's wearing less than I am. He just continues to stare at the ocean. You shouldn't have come out here, man. You're freezing. Despite his concerned words, he doesn't look over to me, nor does his face give away any emotion. He still just has that blank stare. I couldn't just leave you on your own after what happened. You look really messed up. Yeah, I fucked up real bad, didn't I? Why are you here? I was sure that you wouldn't look here, but you always did. But you always did surprise me. You came here because you thought I wouldn't look here? When we were here last time, I could tell this place bothered you more than you let on. I thought if I came here, you wouldn't find me. Do you not want me to find you? After all this time, he finally turns to look at me. He meets his eyes, and that soulless look he's wearing fades until he's able to show the beginnings of a smile. It's not enough to be called an actual smile, but it's like the little bits of the ulcer I know are poking through. I wouldn't say that being around you is great, man, but you deserve someone that will treat you better than me. But why did you freak out? I was just supposed. It's not enough to be called an actual smile, but it's like the little bits of the ulcer I know are poking through. I wouldn't say that being around you is great, man, but you deserve someone that will treat you better than me. But why did you freak out? It was just supposed to be some fun, right? It was supposed to be, but every time I touched you, all I could think about was how I had to push you away afterward. But you said you wouldn't. You promised it, and I don't think you would have broken that. What was everything with Nathan for if you were just going to drop me afterward? It doesn't make sense. Probably just to get in your pants. Maybe I just wanted to make you think I cared, so you let me sleep with you. Guys can be pretty shitty sometimes. But you're not like that. How would you know? Nathan seemed to think I was like that. So does Lee. Maybe they're right. Because if you were like that, you wouldn't have tried to call everything off on the walk home. You weren't just acting weird once things started. You've been acting strange since back then. I just never realized it. But I think I get it now. You do? I don't know everything. In fact, there aren't many details I'm confident about, but I have a feeling you knew something was up. That's why you tried to bail on everything, right? I just don't understand why. Wallace, can I tell you a story? It ain't much, but I'll need to explain everything. Of course, I'm always here for you. I know, young man. That's why I like you so much. Maybe a little too much. That's what's caused this mess in the first place. You liking me then? We got along so well. Sure, there's Selwyn. He's my best friend, but you were something different. You always saw the best in me and wanted to see more. Selwyn always gave me the space I wanted and never pushed me out of my comfort zone, but he wanted me to be better. It pissed me off a little bit, but it also felt good to know that someone cared that much. Of course I care, but that's a problem. I began to care too much, and I've been taking a lot of precautions to stop that. Precautions. That's why I never got too friendly with most of the swim team, why I always kept my distance from any of my one-night stands. I didn't want to get close to anyone, but keeping your distance is hard and you get cravings, you know? So I kept things casual. It worked well for the most part. Sometimes people would get hurt though. There wasn't anyone as bad as Nathan, but Crap was rarely clean. But Crap was rarely clean with people as young as us. But why? Why are you always pushing people away? Asa, do you remember how I told you my brother died? Yeah? We were very close. He always looked up to me, and I took care of him. Sure, he was a little butt, but I loved him. But then he died, and it ruined me. Mom and Dad kept trying to tell me it wasn't my fault, that I shouldn't beat myself over it, but how could I not? I just lost my little bro. I hated feeling like that. I never wanted to feel like that ever again, so I made a promise to myself in high school that I would never get close to anyone again. If I never got close to anyone, I wouldn't have to get hurt if they disappeared. It didn't make the pain go away, so I focused on other things. Swimming and sex. Got it right first try. Whenever you swam, I swear you looked different. Yeah, anyway, things were going well, but then you came along. I thought you were cute and we might hit it off, do something fun and both leave happy. But then I got to talking to you, and I knew it was different from the start. I don't usually give guys I'm trying to score my number. I should have known it would end up like this. But I didn't do anything. I wasn't anything. I wasn't anyone special. But you are, huh? I keep telling you, but you never listen. You truly are an amazing guy. You care about people you never even met, even those who don't give you any reason to. Most people will have dismissed Lucas on me at first glance, but you never saw us for anything but the best. And you were fun, you were cute and sweet and cared more than anyone else. How could I have not? Suddenly, also cuts himself off, and I knew right away that there was something more to what he had been going to say. He knows that I know and doesn't bother to hide it. How could I have not fallen for you? What? But it's not a good idea. Everything in my head and body is telling me to push you away because I know that letting you get close will only get one of us hurt. It doesn't have to. It will. I began to reach out before I hesitate, knowing just how he reacted the last time he got in contact with me, but that brings a new question to mind. You've always been so physical with me before. What changed? It means something different when I touched you like that. Before it was just friendly, but it wasn't like that in bed. But you still look terrified to touch me now. Everything's different now, man. I shouldn't have let us cross that bridge. If I didn't push you to sleep with me, things would have continued as normal. Things don't have to change if you don't want it to. They already have. He turned back to the ocean and neither of us said anything as we watched the waves. Any remnants of the sun have completely disappeared, leaving us fully in the early night. This is more serious than I thought, and I know that nice words aren't going to be enough to move on from this. I'm going to need to be a little more open with him. Oscar, I'm not able to look at him yet, but I can feel his gaze on me, even if I can't beat it just yet. I might lose my nerve if I do. When I was younger, in middle school, I lost my brother. He died. It hurt so much. I hated myself for it, and I isolated myself from everyone. I didn't have any friends in high school, not real ones anyway. But all that did was hurt me. All that did was make me feel so alone and sad. I hated the house I lived in and couldn't let it go. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through my messages. It usually isn't so far down, but with all my new friends, including Nathan, it was the first time I couldn't immediately see it. There was something relieving in that, but I know that it's needed right now. I opened up the previous messages between my brother, including the one that I'd been dreading seeing again. I hadn't opened it since I left home for college, even if I saw it in a dream. I showed him the final words I ever saw from my brother. I'm sorry. That was the last thing I ever saw from him. I hate seeing that. All it does is bring back awful memories, but I can't bring myself to delete it. It means too much. Wallace, please let me finish. Okay, go ahead, man. I know you feel that you're alone, and that being alone is better, but you're not. You've never been. You say everything changed when you met me, but that's not true. You had Selwyn, right? You might not have had him from the beginning, but I know you're close. He means a lot to you, and you mean a lot to him. I finally turned to look at him, feeling the water well behind my eyes. I'm not going to cry though, because right now I need to be strong for someone who needs my help. You don't have to be alone. It'll only hurt you more to do so. But if we get close and I lost you, it will not only hurt us, Is that really worth it? Everyone gets hurt sometimes, but you make the most of the time you got, right? The thing I regret the most about my brother is that I had him in the first place. It's that I didn't spend enough time with him before. It's that I didn't spend enough time with him while I had the chance. I took a step closer, gauging his reaction as I went. He stifles but doesn't pull away, but I can see just how uncomfortable our proximity is making him. Will we ever be able to be close again? He's always been so physically intimate, I hadn't been prepared for this. But I slowly reached a hand over, only hesitating when I heard his breath hitching, but I continued on until I looped just a single finger around his pinky. It's barely any contact, but right now it was enough. He closed his hands and gripped my finger tightly with his own. His breathing is still heavy, but it doesn't look like he's going to freak out. We can take baby steps, just a little bit at a time, as slow as you need, until you feel more comfortable. But why? Because I might like you too. Really? Of course I do. You're charming and handsome. And when I was all by myself and frightened on my first day, he reached out and took care of me. How could I have not fallen for you? I made sure to use the same words he used on me, hoping that my feelings were able to reach him. He just looked shocked and a little confused. I don't know. I don't think I'd be a very good boy. I don't think I could be that yet. We don't have to be anything yet if that's too fast. We can take our time, right? There's no rush. We're at college after all. It's a time to experiment and have fun. For the first time since I found him out here, he gives me one of his usual bright smiles. It isn't fully reaching his eyes, and there's a lingering sadness across his face. But still, it's more than a little relieving to see it. I don't know if I'd be any good at this, man, but I really do like you. I've never felt anything like this for anyone. It's scary, man. We don't have to do it if you don't want to. It's only if you feel comfortable, but I'll be here with you at every step. That's my point. I squeezed down his large finger just enough to remind him of my presence there. It might be a small connection, but it's enough. I think I want to, but can we take it slow? We're not dating. Not yet. Is that okay, man? That's more than okay. We can take our time. Now let's go. It's getting cold. I'm freezing and you're wearing less than me. You don't have to worry about me, little dude. You felt me. I always run hot. How did you find me anyway? I was sure you wouldn't look here. A knot behind us, and we both turned around to see Selwyn standing at the edge of the beach just off the sand. His arms are wrapped around himself. He's jumping from foot to foot, likely in an attempt to keep warm. He found you. Of course you know. I told him that I'd been worried about you when we came here the first time. I didn't think he'd remember that. Selwyn's a lot more perceptive than you think. I think he knows more than he lets know. I believe that. He's always been sneakier than his cute appearance lets on. I still have known he'd come find me. He's always been looking out for me. It isn't just him either. You have the rest of our little group too. We might only have met recently, but everyone cares about you, I know. He lets out a chuckle, one much darker than I've ever heard from him before. There's no malice, but it feels more self-pitying than normal. They don't like me, Wallace. You know that. They do, and I know that you know they care. Someone helped me find you, but Lucas stayed in my room to keep watch for you. He offered to do that. He did. I bet the others would have been worried sick too if they knew. Also frowns before rummaging around in his pockets and pulling out his phone. He turns it on and is assaulted by numerous notifications. I can see both of the calls I made, but I also see one from Lily from Lily and 3 from Lee. He also has a bunch of unread messages from the 2 of them as well. I'm not able to get a good look, but from what I can see, one of them looks to be from Lee, and he asks if Austin's doing okay and if he needs any help. I can only imagine the other messages are filled with those 2. Lucas must have told him, "I told you, we're all here for you. You don't have to be alone." Austin only stares at his phone, and for a moment I swear I can see his eyes simmering. I can't tell if it's just the light hitting his eyes or if he's tearing up. But I can tell this means more to him than I could ever understand. "Do you think I could stay with Sarah tonight? I think I need to sort some stuff out of my head." "Oh, okay, that's no problem." "Are you sure you're going to be okay?" "Yeah, I think I'll be fine, little dude. Don't worry about me." It's hard not to be after everything we just went through. I know I also went through some serious stuff growing up, and I doubt I fully understand the extent of it. But regardless, I need to support him. I saw Austin off with someone who didn't harass either of us with any questions. He was more concerned with making sure Austin was okay, even if he told him there were no issues. We both knew that he wasn't buying that, but he still respected our space. He was just happy Austin was doing better and took the opportunity to check in on me as well. I never would have guessed Seven would have been such an attentive friend when I first met him. He came across as so meek and unpredictable, but I'm more thankful to him than ever. He promised me he looked after Austin and keep me updated on everything, but assured me that they probably just go home and sleep. We all looked exhausted. My walk back to my apartment was uneventful. It was probably the best thing to have happened all night. It wasn't too late that the streets were completely empty, so I felt safe enough. By the time I made it back to the building, sleep had become progressively more tempting. I'm nearly passing out in the elevator ride up. Maybe I should have taken the stairs just to wake myself up a little more. I'm so out of it that I forgot that Lucas is watching my room until I walk into the hallway and see him leaning against my door, laptop on his knees as he taps away. But the moment he sees me, he puts everything aside and jumps to his feet to meet me halfway. "Do you manage to find him? He hasn't showed up here yet." "Yeah, I found him by the beach. He's staying with someone right now." "Why was he at the beach? Why there of all places?" "He said it was because I wouldn't look there, but someone figured it out right away." "I see him. Well, I'm glad he's okay regardless. He might be annoying, but I don't want anything bad to happen to him." "I don't have many friends." "Hey, Lucas." "Yes? Thanks for helping out. I was panicking pretty bad when I was leaving. Hearing that you wanted to help, it meant a lot." It was nothing. Please don't think about it much." "Still, if he did come back and you weren't here, we might have missed him." "I told you it was nothing. You should let Austin know that. I think he appreciated a lot from you." "You think so? I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Austin might always seem cheerful, but he's going through some stuff. I think he really appreciated it." "I see. I'll talk to Lily and Lee. It might be a hassle, but maybe we could meet up tomorrow." I wouldn't want anyone to feel alone, not even someone like him. "Really?" "That would be amazing. I think he'd appreciate that." I'll message him in a bit. "You look like you could use some sleep. I'll be up for a while longer, so if you need any company, you can ask." "I think I just need some rest. Today was a long day, and I have a lot to think about." "That makes sense. I'll check on you tomorrow. Just make sure you're doing okay. I think he'd be sad if you lost sleep over this." "You're right, thanks." "I told you. You don't need to think." But he isn't able to finish his sentence as I pull him into a hug. It isn't too tight, and I make sure he can pull away if he wants to. I know he isn't the biggest fan of physical affection, but I didn't expect him. I didn't expect him to care so much about Oscar. He doesn't pull away though. He just stands there, stunned, and lets it happen. Eventually, I pull away and let him walk back to his room. With how flustered he is, I'm barely able to catch his goodbye as he disappears into the stairwell. But I'll take his advice and get to bed as soon as possible. I work my way through my nightly routine. Just get a shower for the night just to go to bed as soon as possible. But the moment I'm lying in bed, my mind wanders to everything that happened today. Everything with Oscar got more complicated in just a single night. I'm not sure what the two of us are anymore. We're not dating, but we're certainly past just being friends by now. Whatever it is, I know that he needs some support getting through it. No, he doesn't just need anyone's help. He needs my help. I just wish I could help him. My mind swirls with possibilities about what I could do to help, but nothing comes to mind. Things will need to keep going as they are, and maybe they'll get better. That's all I can hope for. But my mind isn't able to keep up any further. I can feel my consciousness rapidly fading, and all I can see is the empty expression he wore as he stared out at the waves. I'm lying down on a bed in a small room. It looks fancy like a hotel, but there's something about it that looks off. Everything looks like it should be pristine condition, but there's a layer of age on everything. Dust covers the windowsills, and there's a musty smell in the air. My body climbs itself off the bed on its own. It's like it has a mind of its own, and there's a fog covering my brain, stopping it from taking it back. I'm just a spectator here. There's little in the hotel room I'm in. There's two queen-size beds at bedside tables sitting next to each of them, and a television mounted on the wall. A thick layer of dust covers everything, and it doesn't look like the bed has been used in months. A musty odor makes the air almost suffocating. But I don't have mind time to think about that as I walk towards one of the two doors, the one that looks to lead out of the room, and the peephole in the door is any indication. I have to assume the other one leads to the in-suite. The door makes a loud creak as it opens. The sounds reverberates throughout the corridor. This place sounds well and truly abandoned. Not that I know where this place even is. The hallway looks just as fancy as the room itself, though it looks even more worn down. What should be a plush carpet feels coarse under my feet, and most of its color has faded away. I didn't notice it before, but it's hard to keep my balance. It's like gravity keeps shifting, and I'm forced to adjust myself just to keep my footing. It's hard to tell if that's something to do with where I am or if it's me. My body already feels out of my own control. This might be a consequence of that. It truly feels like I'm just watching a dream. Before I can think too deeply about it, I walk to a different area. It's another hallway, but there's significantly less doors in this area. In fact, this area looks almost empty. I don't know how I got here so fast. It's like I blinked and I was here. Even trying to think about what just happened caused my head to draw a blank, like there's an empty slot in my memory. With a few more steps, I come to an intersection. There's a door in front of me, but that doesn't look to be where we're going as I turn down the other path. But this way only leads to another door, except this one looks completely different from the rest of them. It's entirely made of metal, and there's a large valve on it. Next thing I know, I'm standing right in front of it, and there's a heavy weight that comes over me. There's something behind this door I don't want to see. It's like being underwater, unable to breathe with limited movement to save myself. I try to force myself to move, to reach over and turn the valve, or to just walk away. But I can't move, not with all this weight on me. The door in front of me looks like it's been recently cleaned, but something in my head is telling me it hasn't been opened in a long time. There's a window at the front, there's a window at the time, but looking through it doesn't help me figure out what's on the other side. The window must be fogged up, except the surface looks clear somehow. I swear I can see something on the other side. It looks blue and seems to be glowing, but it's impossible to make out any of the details. About, but something about it feels familiar and eerie. I'm not able to ponder that thought for very long as the ground lurches and I have to steady myself once again. This feels different than before as a loud crash echoes from far down the hall. Then a silence until my ears pick up something in the distance, but I can't quite make it out. It sounds like, like, like rushing water. The sound grows to a roar, and I'm still unable to move. It takes seconds before it arrives. The water crashes around the corner and floods towards me within movements. And I jolt awake, tossing off whatever's weighing me down, and sit up frantically, looking around my room trying to find. But there's no water. It's just my room, looking the exact same as it did last night, except now my blankets were in a pile at the end of my bed. That's going to take a bit to fix, but I don't care right now. I just let out a sigh of relief and fell back onto my pillow. It was just a dream. It felt so real, but it was just a dream. I mean, of course, it was just a dream. The signs were all there. I couldn't remember why I got there, and I couldn't even control myself. It was like a lucid dream where I couldn't control myself, and it reminded me a lot of those dreams I've been having recently. Was this related to them as well? I couldn't tell. I look around my room, my empty room, and I'm unable to stop the feeling of deep loneliness from overwhelming me. I curl up until my knees are pressed against my chest and press my face between them. Everything's gotten so weird lately that I can't tell if my dream's just a dream or if it's something else. Maybe I should bring this up with Arthur. He might have some advice. But as soon as I think about Arthur, I remember the mess that happened yesterday. Everything has gotten so out of hand, and even if we managed to solve it with someone's help, it was still a lot. I don't even know where me and Arthur really stand right now. We talked things out, but he still look uncomfortable around me, and I don't know what's going to happen now. I wish Marcus was here. He know what to do. No, stop that. I can't think like that. I just can't. It's not fair on me. Not with everything else going on. Not with what's happening to Oscar. I have to wonder though. I wonder if Marcus would have liked him. Then again, how could you not like him? I know he gets on Leah and Lucas's nerves, but I think even they're coming around to him. Though I might have just ruined that. No, that isn't fair either. I can't just give up because there was a little adversary, right? Mom used to always say that if things ever got hard, I always had people to rely on. Even if I didn't think so, I have to make sure I remember that. Arthur and I might have gone through some things, but we've gotten on the right track, mostly thanks to Severin. I really need to call him and see how everything went. Pulling myself out of my cocoon, I managed to calm down somewhat. The dream is still fresh in my mind, but there's a dullness to the impact. Honestly, it feels silly how I'm acting. Of course, I had a nightmare about flooding after what Arthur and I went through in the hospital, whatever that was. Everything that happened last night is just making things worse. With a sigh, I pulled out my phone to check the time. I know it's still the weekend and I didn't exactly have any plans. It's a little past 8 in the morning. After everything that's happened last night, I'm surprised I got as good of a sleep as I did. But then again, I was pretty exhausted. I was pretty exhausted, so it made sense in a way. It's not too surprising to see a message from Lucas this morning, but I am a little sorry to see from Lily. I guess with everything that happened, we made her. Hey, so we got to see Oscar break down for good this time. By good, like you've been seeing hints of him not being all that well. He still tried to keep up that that appearance of him being this optimistic guy who's seems to be positive and seems to have things under his control, but we got to see some cracks in that facade. And in this video here, this part of the VN at least, that facade had completely collapsed. I mean, he decides to he can't just keep going like that no more, and he just decides to just leave. So yeah, apparently despite him promising Wallace that he wouldn't ditch him after having sex with him, he realized he couldn't keep that promise, and that if he went ahead with it, he will indeed ditch Wallace just like he did with Nathan and the other guys. So before he really got down into having sex with Wallace, he stopped and he just left, and he told Wallace he couldn't do it anymore. He just feared that he would have done the same to him if he continued, so he left. So Wallace searched for Oscar, and Selwyn found Oscar for Wallace. He was at the beach, and they had their conversation at the beach, and I think the two of them managed to maybe not pass things up, but at least try to. I think they both kind of understand each other now, And this neighbor's dog is barking. This neighborhood I'm in, there's so many dogs around here. Anyway. So, he talked about his brother, and he feared that if he thought about his brother his brother died, and when his brother died, that hurt him, that devastated him, so he decided he didn't want to be with anybody else anymore. Well, maybe not, but not be with anybody else, but like distance himself, like try not to be so attached to other people, which explains why he really doesn't have any friends, or never really have much friends, because it kind of reminded him of his brother by having many friends. Like, just didn't want to get so attached to people, and that caused him to ditch one of the people he had sex with, just blocking him. So and Selwyn is a good friend. He's a good friend to Oscar, though it seems Oscar lately has been more into Wallace. But I think he should be just as close with Selwyn as he has been with Wallace. And in the others in the group, their media class group, Lucas and Lee and Lily, they're coming towards Oscar gradually. So they didn't like him at first, but they're starting to warm up to him gradually. And Lucas said that while Oscar ignored this dog here. So Lucas said while Oscar was annoying he did care for him and did want to see Oscar hurt. Oscar hurt. This dog's still barking over here. I'm just gonna hurry up and just finish. So anyway, that dream, Wallace had another of those dreams there, and it's kind of like similar to the one he had with Oscar. You know, he's in a different place, and then everything seems to be okay. You know, power on, and the place is relatively clean, and yeah, the place is abandoned, and then there's a flood of water that comes towards Wallace. So, just like in the hospital, it happens in this hotel, I think. So, we're having a lot of these dreams that kind of similar. You know, you're in a strange setting, and the setting is abandoned, and then a flood of water comes towards you. I don't know what these dreams could mean, but we have to see more. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop now before this dog keeps barking again. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.